Welcome back, class 10, your civics class. Today we will revise the Prime Minister. So according to your 2021 ICSE syllabus, you have appointment of the Prime Minister, formation of the Council of Ministers, tenure, positions and powers of the Prime Minister, collective and individual responsibility of the Cabinet. Starting off with the appointment of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President, and other ministers are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister. In reality, this is only a formal power of the President. The Prime Minister is the leader of the party or coalition which commands a majority in the Lok Sabha. In appointing the Prime Minister, the President has very little power of making personal choice. So what does it mean? After the general election, the party which wins with the majority vote, they decide who their leader will be. So accordingly, they choose their Prime Minister, and the President is bound to give him the appointment. And the Prime Minister, he or she chooses the ministers who will be there in his or her cabinet, and he gives the names to the president, and the president accordingly issues the appointment. So this is basically how the Prime Minister and the other ministers of the cabinet are appointed. Now, powers and functions of positions and powers. In your exam, positions and powers are there of the Prime Minister. Now, we may assess the position and powers of the Prime Minister under following heads. Number one, Prime Minister and the President. The Prime Minister is the link between the Cabinet and the President. The decisions of the Cabinet are conveyed to the President through the Prime Minister. Whatever the decision the Cabinet makes, it is conveyed to the President through the Prime Minister. It is he, that means it is the Prime Minister, who keeps the President informed on all matters of the government. Number two, it is on the advice of the Prime Minister that the President summons and prorogues Parliament and dissolves the Lok Sabha. Whatever the President does, whether it is summoning the Parliament or proroguing the Parliament or dissolving the Lok Sabha, the President does according to the advice given to him by the Prime Minister. Number three, it may happen that a minister has taken a decision on some matter which has not been considered by the Council of Ministers. If so, the President may ask the Prime Minister to submit the matter for consideration of the Council. So if a minister has taken a decision on some matter which was not considered or approved by the Council of Ministers, or not brought in front of the Council of Ministers, the President may ask the Prime Minister to submit the matter for consideration of the Council. Now, these are the 3 points where we become clear regarding the position and power of the Prime Minister with the President. Now, position and power of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is the keystone of all the Cabinet arch. If Cabinet is an arch, or the main supporting stone of that arch is the Prime Minister. His role as head of the Council of Ministers requires that he shall exercise some powers. Number one, formation of the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is the recognized leader of the Cabinet. No provision is made in the Constitution for the appointment of different categories of ministers, such as ministers of cabinet rank, ministers of state, and deputy ministers. The Constitution leaves the Prime Minister at liberty in these matters, but the number of ministers cannot exceed 15% of the strength of the Lok Sabha. the President appoints the ministers and allocates work among them on advice of the Prime Minister. So, the main recognized leader of the cabinet is Prime Minister. The Constitution does not give any clear instruction regarding the appointment of the ministers on deputy rank, state rank, or cabinet rank. Whoever the Prime Minister chooses, the President has to give him, those persons, the appointment according to the choice of the Prime Minister. Second is removal of the ministers. The Prime Minister's recognition means that he is the leader of the cabinet. So, if the Prime Minister resigns, very important, once or twice I think in ICSE, the question came, what is the impact or how the resignation of the Prime Minister impact the Council of Ministers? So the Prime Minister's resignation means the resignation of the entire Council of Ministers. No person shall be retained as a member of Council of Ministers if the Prime Minister says that he should be dismissed. So if the Prime Minister resigns, the existence of the Council of Ministers is not there. Number 3, the Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister presides at the cabinet meetings. He decides the agenda of the meetings. At cabinet meetings, the ministers put forth their views. The Prime Minister would listen to them and then give his own conclusion, normally, which normally is the decision of the cabinet. So whatever agendas or ideas the cabinet, the ministers bring forward, the Prime Minister listens to them, and it is his own conclusion which is the decision of the cabinet. Whatever he decides is the ultimate decision of the cabinet. Number 4, he directs and coordinates policies. The Prime Minister coordinates the working of various departments in foreign, defense, economic, and technological affairs. He plays a special role in coordinating the policies of the Union. So it is very simple. He coordinates the working of the various departments. Coordinates means controls. And the working of the interdepartments also. Number 5, the Prime Minister is the link between the Cabinet and the President. The Prime Minister is the link between the Cabinet and the President. The Constitution imposes a duty on the Prime Minister to keep the President informed regarding the affairs of the Union. So this is the duty of the Prime Minister and his position in the cabinet. Now, what is the duty of the Prime Minister and his position inside and his power inside the Parliament? Now, it is on the advice of the Prime Minister that the President summons and prorogues the Parliament and dissolves the Lok Sabha. This is his power. The Prime Minister is the principal spokesman and defender of the government in Parliament. It is he who makes all important announcements of national policies on the floor of the House. This is his power. Sometimes ministers' work comes under severe attack in the House. It is the Prime Minister who saves them from an unpleasant situation. This is his power. There are issues like caste wars, reservations for backward classes, corruption by people in position of authority, price rise and violence in Kashmir Valley, which agitates the MPs. If an ugly situation arises in any of the House, the matter generally ends with the intervention of the Prime Minister. He intervenes and tries to solve the commotion. This is his power. So these are his powers inside the Parliament. Now, the Prime Minister represents India at international conferences. This is his power. There take place conference of the heads of Commonwealth, heads, non-aligned nations, and of SAARC and BRICS nation. The leaders meet to discuss matters such as trade, world economy, state-sponsored terrorism and world peace, and so on and so forth. At such conferences, India is presented by the Prime Minister. India is represented by the Prime Minister. He has the power to commit India to the performance of certain international obligations. So he is the face of India. Whatever he commits, whatever he promises on behalf of the motherland. So this is his power. Prime Minister is the leader of the nation. The Prime Minister is recognized the leader of the nation. The nation looks to the Prime Minister for views on every subject. It expects leadership from him. At the time of general election, usually it is the Prime Minister for whom or for against the people gives vote. It is the face of the Prime Minister, which is very important, for whom or against whom the vote is given. So what is the position of the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister exercises vast authority in legislation and finance. Besides, he may inspire people by his personal qualities. No wonder that many writers have started referring to the parliamentary government as prime ministerial government. So these are basically the powers, position and power of the Prime Minister. So today we have, and tenure, is as long as basically every 6 years there is general election. If the party becomes the winner, the majority will become, the Prime Minister remains as the Prime Minister. And if there is a loss of confidence, the Prime Minister has to resign. No confidence vote if it is passed. And if the Prime Minister resigns, which means the whole Council of Ministers, they will also have to resign. So this is the tenure generally. So today we have completed appointment, tenure and positions and powers of the Prime Minister. In the next class, we will continue with the formation of the Council of Ministers. Thank you.